Community Watch, your community through a whole new perspective.
Let's start from afag's issue in respect of a press statement and then expressing displeasure about the recent increases in taxes. Rashid.
Good evening to your listeners. I believe that taxes in general is not something that is bad. But you see, the game of politics is killing Ghanaians. And I was just listening to one other social commentator, and he has a concern. You see, I've never read economics before, but the little I know about economics shows that when you want to tax, you tax those who have it and give to those who don't have. But what do we see now in Ghana? It's practically the other way around. Now, when you read afag's press statement, you could see a lot of funny issues they raised. But I realized that we were talking about NDC's fiscal policy, and I don't know if you grant me, you give me the right to read to your listeners what they said. NDC said during their campaign. They said the new NDC government will not introduce any new taxes. Instead, we shall seek to improve tax revenue by introducing reforms in the tax administration, shifting from reliance on direct taxes to indirect taxes, and enhancing tax incentives. That's what they said. That is exactly what NDC said in 2008. And I believe MPP would say either the same or even worse off in 2012. They were saying that they will not introduce any new taxes. Fine, ad valorem and co. They are telling us that they will not rely on direct taxes. What are we saying? Increasing taxes to about 1,000%, and you are telling us that you will not rely on it in 2008. What happened in 2010? My concern is that taxes in general is good, but the politicians keep on deceiving Ghanaians. I mean, our MPP said these things, NDC said it. What are we saying? We go to and fro. All I'm saying is that tax is good, but please, let's stop playing politics with the tax. Because actually, when you tax the Ghanaian populace, why we raise funds and all that, it's good. What do we use the taxes for? It ends up going into the pockets of those politicians, greedy, as Kofi said, those greedy bastards. What we seek to do is that let's get the taxes in place, but please, let's stop playing politics with the taxes.
Okay.
It's the economists will say that it's the better way of raising funds for a nation. When you go to US, you go to UK, even if you are urinating, excuse my language, you are urinating, you might be taxed. But they don't have problems with the tax because they can take it back. But in Ghana, what do you see? How many of us know that we are trying to call tax back? So please, we have to educate Ghanaians to understand that the tax is really important and stop playing politics with the tax. I think for now, that's what I have to say.
Okay, but as the attitude of the average Ghanaian towards taxes, especially when it's being increased, we need development, we don't need taxes. How do you reconcile that?
Can you come again?
I mean, the average Ghanaian will try when taxes are being increased, but then we need to develop. So how do you reconcile the two? How do you want development and then not want taxes to be increased?
I think that, as I said, if the politicians go away from their lies and educate Ghanaians that this is the essence of taxation, this is what we need, and this is what we are going to use our taxes for. And I think that nobody would run away from it. No, we all want development. After, if I get up one day and I'm walking on tarred roads all over Ghana, who tells you Ghanaians will not be proud? But the point is that we don't know what they use our taxes for, and even that we don't even know that we can even get the taxes we pay back. We can. So we need education, and when we educate Ghanaians will accept it. That's what I can say.
Mahama Masaudu, PRO for TAIN NDC, Tertiary Education Institute Network of the NDC. Mahama.
Yeah, it was. Good evening to all your listeners out there. Thank you for this opportunity. I wouldn't like to be overly dismissive of the claims by Stephen Amwa and his brothers in the afag, but I think he would have done us a great favor if he had been honest to us to the effect that afag is a pressure group that was formed immediately after they lost the elections with the aim to bring pressure to bear on the NDC government and to try immediately after the 2008 elections were declared in favor of the NDC. Okay. And he was quick to say AFAC isn't that politically biased pressure group. I would have been glad if he had mentioned names out there which are names of concerned Ghanaians and not necessarily names of the MPP, because you and I were in this country when there was CJA. You could mention the likes of Kwesi Pratt, mention the likes of Alaji Ramadan, mention the likes of Bernard Mona and others. These were concerned Ghanaians who really championed the cause of Ghanaians. Kabila, of course.
Kabila from CPP. So you can't say afag is solely.
My brother, MPP. can I go ahead and make my point? Of course. Let me come to the substance of their press release and issues that were articulated by Stephen Amwa. The issue of taxes will always go on. The debate will always go on because everybody fears to pay tax, but we like to enjoy the aftermath, the fruits of these taxes. They indicated in one of the paragraphs of their press release that the NDC government promised not to introduce new taxes but to review existing taxes. And indeed, Stephen Amwa went ahead to mention the fact that when in the course of his delivery that taxes have been imposed on commodities, notably edible commodities, and he mentioned that Tom Brown, he specifically yellow corn, and then the rice and other imports. You and I would agree that in an economy as ours, where we allow virtually everything into this country, and indeed we mentioned this in our manifesto for this year, we allow virtually everything into this country, be it good or bad. We need a regime, a tax regime, where we can, if not nip this problem in the bud, reduce the extent to which some of these products find their way into this country. At the end of the day, they become very huge burdens on us. Some of them even are hazardous to our health, yet our people continue to consume them. So it was prudent that taxes be imposed on some particular imports. And then he went ahead to mention that generally commodity prices are on the high side. I would have been glad if he had enumerated some of the edible commodities, some of the consumer commodities that he feels prices have been increased due to the new tax regimes that have been imposed. Then you and I know that the issue of sachet water production in this country has really worried this country for a long while now. These sachet water producers earn their profit. They create so much filth out there. They don't bear corporate responsibility in terms of helping to keep the country clean, in terms of helping to gather these end products from their products and then try and recycle them, if not put them to good use. So it's just in the right direction that we review taxes in the area of sachet water production to try and if not solve the problem of so much waste being generated in the system, prevent those who think cannot meet their corporate responsibilities of helping to keep the environment clean, and yet will only go into the market to make profit, and at the end of the day leave the huge and daunting task of cleaning the environment up to the government to do. You would agree with me?
So you think that taxes should be imposed on sachet water?
Of course.
Now, the final effect is going to be on the consumer, the average consumer on the street. Now, we hear that pure water producers are proposing 7 Ghana pesos for a sachet of water as a new price with increasing materials.
Yes, definitely. We, the final consumers, will be the end bearers of the effect of these new tax regimes. But you'll agree with me that this measure is going a very long way to ensure that the market, the system out there is sanitized, in that he who thinks you go in out there, you produce, and you cannot meet your corporate responsibilities of helping to keep the environment clean, you don't just go in there. And let me tell you, even in this country,